Every year I come across the same problem when it comes to the vine squash borers and my squash plants. They get inside of them and they kill basically a lot of my crop. In this video, I'm gonna show you guys another alternative way of, handling these vine squash borers in addition to that other stem surgery. God forbid you have to get to that point. And you know what I'm using? BT again. What's going on, my plant peoples? I am the ADHD gardener, where I use gardening, houseplants, and humor as a form of mental health therapy. And I'm laying right in front, I'm not laying down, I'm sitting down right by my squash plants. Now these are butternut squash and spaghetti squash. Now, if you've seen my last video on how to do some emergency squash surgery, I'm gonna drop it right up here, down below, so you can go check that out. That was a very effective method of getting that larva outside of your plants. And this is where it comes to even further prevention before we even have to go through that surgery that we had to do from the squash. Now, in order to level up our squash game, that involved getting some BT and some other materials like a syringe. Now, you can order that syringe through Amazon. That's exactly what I did too. Before we get started with the video, just want to let you guys know I'm on other social media platforms. You can catch me on Facebook and Instagram. I'm on there all the time. Also, I'm dabbling again occasionally in TikTok. But also, you can find me on the ADHDgardener.com. And last but not least, I'm working and finalizing on my Patreon, where I'm going to be vlogging further behind the scenes of my videos and live streaming. Stay tuned for that. Back to the video. Well, doesn't this bring me back to nursing days? My goodness, talk about a throwback. When you get your syringes, it's not going to come with the needles. You're going to have to screw on the needles itself. After this blue one, this is just the top, the syringe right here without the needle. I'm going to show you an option when it comes to injecting your BT. Normally you inject your BT so it can kill those nasty vine borers that make it inside of the stem. And that is where they do the most damage, because the moths don't really do much damage. They just kind of lay the eggs. You can spray all the BT you want on the outside of that plant, but it will not do anything for those larvae that are inside of that plant. So this is where the BT comes into play, and we're gonna inject it and we're gonna kill those suckers. What I have right here is just a regular syringe. You can buy this on Amazon. I'll drop the link down in the description below if you want to go check that out. Doesn't matter about the size of the syringe, at least if it can be up to like 3 mLs, 3 cc's, that's perfectly fine. So maybe getting a 5 ml syringe is cool. I have a 12 ml syringe. You can get 10, it doesn't really matter. Now I have here this container. Remember that container from earlier? We're going to be filling this up with a little bit of bleach and water. Not a lot of bleach. I'm just going to be using it just to clean out the syringes. This is the part where you don't really have to do. You can skip over, but I'm just letting you know, as you know, that's what I do. I'm supposed to let you guys know about this. Now remember that other container? This is where the bleach comes into play, because if you have an infection in your plant, a fungus infection, bacterial infection, anything that looks not right with that plant, chances are you can transfer that very same infection or whatever's wrong with that plant into another one, and you don't want to do that. Now, this is where you have to clean out or disinfect your syringe before every single squash plant. Yeah, I know that sucks and is a lot of time, which is why I'm not going to do it. All you do is insert the needle into the liquid and pull up with the plunger until you fill up the entire needle. You're going to be pushing out all of the leftover liquid inside of that syringe, and you're going to do it at least 2 to 3 times. Yeah, it's very, very tedious, especially if you have a lot of squash plants. I have a lot of them, and you know what? I don't got the time. But if you really do have an infection, you really are. Which means if I had an infection, it didn't matter how tedious it would be, I would have had to done it. If you want to make sure that there's no bleach water left in that, you can actually just suck up a bunch of just regular water to kind of rinse out the syringe. And then you're going to do that before injecting this BT into every single plant. I know, my table looks a hot mess, but it just rained and it's a little messy. I have 2 different brands of BT. It doesn't really matter which one you use. This one has been open for a while because, of course, I don't know how to put caps back on, so I've been using this one. This brand, along with all the other ones, you have to dilute it because this is pretty strong if you directly put it into the plant. So that's why we're going to dilute it with a little bit of water. And then we're going to suck it up through the needle and then do our thing. This liquid's pretty brown, so when you dilute it, you don't want it to be clear, but you want it to be at least a little tinged or a lot lighter than what the color originally was. All right, here we go. The needles that you're gonna get from Amazon are blunted. They're not really gonna be sharp enough to really prick you, but just be careful. Before I get to the injection of the BT, do you see anything different that's on the floor right here? I have insect netting. You damn right I got some insect netting because I want to prevent those stupid little moths from landing on top of the base of the plant. So I'm hoping that helped. We shall see. Also, ideally, you want to wait until you see the first flower, yellow flowers of your squash plants. Those yellow flowers are like a bat signal to these stinking moths, and that's gonna let them know, hey, you know what? Now it's time to go be laying my eggs all up in the plants. So that is the time where you need to kind of inject this BT. Remember, we're gonna be spraying it using aluminum foil and maybe even some insect netting, but you can't forget about the injection. And first sign is those flowers. Now, of course, where they have the insect netting, that is where the base of the plant is. I want to really secure that that did not have any bugs at all. But that does not guarantee that this will not get hit with bugs. Go to the source of the vine, right above the soil. Now, you're gonna want to at least inject it maybe about like 2 inches or 1.5 inches or so above the soil line. This is where those little sucker larvae tend to come in. And I'm gonna be injecting this into the center of the stem. You don't want to go all the way through because then again, that would be pointless. You see there? Look at that. Oh, I see an opening somewhere right here. So it looks like those suckers could have gotten in. That is where I'm going to be injecting the BT. You are gonna go down, Holmes. Okay, we're gonna inject this. It's kind of hard to hold the camera and this at the same time, but we're gonna try. Oh, there it is. You're going to be putting it in halfway because inside of the stem is hollow. So you don't want to go all the way through and pierce the other side. So we're just going to have enough, and I'm going to put at least 2 cc's of that. Oh, you see it dripping on there? Oh, I went too far through. Back up, through. Whoop. Okay, what was the result of it? Well, I still see a boatload of green, so that's good. The plants did take a hit, but that was not because of the BT. That was actually because I was too late with the BT and the vine borers already got to some of the areas of the plants. This one took a hit, as you can see by the color, and it just really, it doesn't look the best, but it did survive. I did, of course, add on to the aluminum foil with the injection, and I also wound up getting a netting too, but I noticed that the netting really still didn't do much because those stupid things really still got in. I did notice a problem also here. As you see, I got to this too late. Now this, that just rotted out. As we saw from the first video, it took a massive hit. It's starting to get really light. You saw when I injected that plant, look at that. This one is doing really good and is going strong. I did not have any problems with this plant at all this year. I made sure to get that one with BT. These 2 zucchini plants died. They had no chance. But that zucchini is still holding on. These squash plants and these vine borers is going to be a big problem, and especially if you're going at it organically. That's exactly what I'm doing. I don't want to use no chemicals or pesticides, so that means it's going to involve a lot of work, and that means it's going to involve a lot of patience. And we all know about patience for me, but this is why gardening is teaching us patience. Gardening is teaching us a bunch of good stuff that we can use and implement in our own life. So I'm going to learn from this squash and learn some patience. I really hope you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it and you got some good information. If you did enjoy this video and you want to show me and my squash plants some love, then don't forget to smash that like button. I really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't already, then consider subscribing. I drop a video every week and then some. Actually, you know what? I am basically dropping a short and a full video every week. Also, don't forget about the notification bell, because without the bell, you won't know I'm dropping a video. And last but not least, you can catch me on other social media platforms. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, but also the ADHDgardener.com. And I'm finalizing and working on my Patreon, where we can live stream, vlog, behind the scenes, and all that jazz. That was a mouthful, I know. But until the next episode, you guys, where you and me both are going to be growing our happiness one plant at a time, one day at a time. I'll catch y'all later in the next episode. Peace and love. I'm in my garden right now and I see this wild animal just grazing like a wild antelope or nothing, but he's not. Hold on. I think he spotted me. Oh, what is that? What is that wild animal in the middle of the brush? Look at that. What are you doing? Owning the place. Owning the place. Why are you so cute? I love you so much. You do whatever you want. Don't let your sister know. Get out of here.